with 47 minutes p.m. and the weather is 89 Fahrenheit. We have received a lot of controversies if traveling on time is possible. So today we'll be talking about how going back to the future is possible. I have my coworker in the other line with the report ready. Luis, can you hear me? Let's go. Thank you, Luis. Yes, absolutely. So let me give you a brief explanation of how time travel could be possible, but only with parallel timelines. The concept of time travel has fascinated humans for almost 3 centuries, and there are several reasons for that. For one reason, we only have one life, and we have a limited number of choices. Some choices work out, and others do not. Hence, as long as the human heart harbors regret, we will entertain the fantasy of going back and changing things. Next, as humans, we desire to see the results of our actions before we can make them just to be sure that we do the right thing. On the other side of these impulses, we do not know the true story of history. Therefore, it fascinates us to consider what might have happened. We also want to see what happens beyond death. At least everyone must be curious about what will happen after we are gone. Finally, we desire to live in a better time because we are dissatisfied with the trappings of our own. Barak Shoshani, an assistant professor at the Brock University, writing for the Physics Organization Journal, explains that the current scientific understanding of time is derived from Einstein's theory of general relativity. According to Shoshani, Einstein's theory combines the idea of space and time into what he termed spacetime, giving an intricate explanation of how the two relate at a level unmatched by any other scientific explanation. He explains that general relativity provides the best possibility for time travel. Shoshani explains that two main arguments refute the possibility of time travel. The equations might add up, but they're meaningless because they are not practical. The issue of practicality states that building a time machine requires matter with negative energy, something exotic to a word. Negative matter can be created in quantum theory, but in quantities so tiny that last for such a short time, they will not help. There is no proof that exotic matter cannot be created in exotic quantities. Furthermore, other equations might come up one day that allows humans to time travel without the need for exotic matter. The second argument against travel is not practical, but the observation that time travel goes against logic, especially when we consider time travel paradoxes. For example, if you had a time machine and used it to go back 5 minutes, after which you destroy the time machine such that it will be impossible to come back to the present time. Now that the time machine will be destroyed, it should be impossible to use it 5 minutes later. The assistant professor explains a common trope in science fiction that paradoxes can be created. Therefore, time travelers are warned not to make any significant change in the past and not to meet their past selves for the very same reason. However, this is a misconception because paradoxes cannot be created in physics. They are only theoretical concepts that point out the inconsistency of a theory. Unlike in the movies, paradoxes do not imply that time travel is dangerous. They are only there to poke holes into its logic. They show that it should be impossible. Physics, Stephen Hawking introduced the chronological projection to resolve the paradox inconsistency, which shows that time travel should be impossible. However, Suchet observed that we love time travel too much, which moved physics Igor Dimitrov to come up with the self-consistency conjecture, arguing that one can travel to the past but cannot change it. From Igor's argument, you will go back to the past, but it will be impossible to destroy your time machine because the laws of physics will conspire to preserve consistency. To the assistant professor, this also beats logic. This brings Barak Shoshani to his main point. He explains that his recent work with his students shows that there are several time travel paradoxes that Igor's conjecture cannot solve. However, Shoshani explains that the paradox of time travel can be resolved by allowing multiple histories or multiple timelines using the contemporary term. Back to the thought experiment, when you exit the time machine, you're in a different timeline and can do anything without changing anything in the original timeline. Hence no paradox. Shoshani reminds us that these are just speculations, and he's working with his students to find out if multiple histories could be compatible with general relativity. Moreover, even if Shoshani showed that multiple timelines are compatible with general relativity, it is not proof the possibility of time travel, only the ruling out of the paradox. So there we have it, going back to the studio. Very poor. So there it is. If you were wondering if going back to the future was impossible, today that has changed. There's a possibility to go back and change the mistakes in your life, or even better, live again a moment you have wished. Shoshana believes that time travel could be possible, but only if the universe allows multiple histories to exist. However, the big question is, can multiple histories exist? So, that was it for today. Thank you for watching us. Now you can say that you are well informed.